Hello, hello. How is everyone doing today? I am doing just fine. Wait just a second to see if anybody gets in. This is Kenya Rahman, the author and founder of the Child Support Hustle. And I want to talk today. Let's give a sec. I hope y'all have y'all notifications on. Uh, if not, if you're watching this later, thanks for watching. And if you're new here, don't forget to click the subscribe button. See one person here. Hi. I don't know. I haven't figured out yet what time to come on here. What's the best time? Thank you for the like. When was the best time to get more people in the chat and everything like that? So I'm still, working out my vibe or when it's right for me. So bear with me and hopefully we'll work this out together. Y'all let me know when the best time is and I'll try to accommodate. Hi, Stephanie. How are you? So for the sake of time, because this is a lot of information, but it's important, as I'm sure you guys know, because Senator Joe Manchin out of West Virginia voted no on the Build Back Better bill. $2 trillion were at stake. And he voted no on this bill. And it's everywhere. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody is, oh, Manchin, why'd you do this? And, some people are happy about it, mainly the Republicans. The Democratic supporters are pissed. So I wanted to evaluate this because, is this child support related? Which, if we're talking about a safety net program, which almost every news outlet, every legislative outlet, like everybody's talking about, this is a safety net plan. So basically, Manchin saying vote no on this is Manchin voting no on trying to reduce child poverty, getting child care out for the people, like anything to do to provide a safety net for vulnerable people, working class people. Manchin basically said no to that. So we know that child support, when it was first implemented, was a safety net. It was to reduce poverty. So the fact that they have this $2 trillion bill that they want to introduce, the Build Back Better bill, and they are jumping on Manchin and, why didn't you vote this bill and it's going to reduce poverty? And they never once mentioned child support in this bill should tell everybody something. Like, that's a huge program. It's the best investment, according to the Federal Office of Child Support Enforcement, that the government has seen. They make the most money off of this. Like, it's the most cost effective. And it's to prevent children living in poverty. So why isn't anything in this bill? So I wanted to, of course, explore it. I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to share it with you all, what I found out. And I'd like to find out what you guys think, of course, and get some dialogue about it, because this is a big deal. And, a lot of people are going to be affected if he says yes. But I'm wondering, what's the no for, Joe? What are you saying no for? So I'm going to start off. So I pretty much I didn't use my notes on that. That was just off the top of my head. So I'm just going to go in and say that at first Manchin stated that his support of the bill focused on expanding the nation's social safety net. He wanted to reduce the Americans' child care and health care costs, and it focused on climate change. I'm not going to talk about climate change because, in my opinion, that's different than the social safety nets. mentioned in this bill. So just for the sake of what I'm talking about, I'm going to exclude climate change. In his reasons for the no vote, Manchin said, among other things, that he had always said, if, quote, if I can't go back home and explain it, I can't vote for it, end quote. So that's his reasoning, among other things. So again, I want to talk about the safety net plan, and everyone is in an uproar about it. This bill is significant. It's actually helping people who, in fact, need a safety net. And more importantly, how harmful is Manchin's no vote to the overall condition of the program that the bill was supposed to help if it's passed. So since the enactment of the Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Reconciliation Act of 1996, which according to the Office of Assistant Secretary for Planning and Evaluation, that's a mouthful, a comprehensive bipartisan welfare reform plan that dramatically changed the nation's welfare system into one that required work in exchange for time-limited assistance. Now that's important. So I want y'all to remember that when they passed this welfare reform under Clinton, but it was bipartisan. A lot of people blame that on Clinton, the child support system that we have now, they blame it on Clinton, but it was a bipartisan effort. As you can see with these big bills now, they have to have everybody on board when they're talking about $2 trillion bills that they want to pass. It has to be, for the most part, both parties coming together. So both parties are responsible for this bill because they both get paid from it. So the law contains strong work requirements, a performance bonus to reward states for moving welfare recipients into jobs, state maintenance of effort requirements, comprehensive child support enforcement, and supports for families moving from welfare to work, including increased funding for child care and guaranteed medical coverage. So child care is already something that was written in that bill back in 1996. And when this bill was passed, the funding changed and the program and block grants called Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, or TANF. A lot of people heard of TANF because they changed it when this bill passed. It was implemented. The states were granted extreme flexibility on how the federal funding was spent. So the money was no longer exclusively dedicated to low income and poor people. The states could spend it on programs to help the poor. They could spend it on programs that had nothing to do with helping the poor, and they could save it for a rainy day. So they had all this money and they could do with it basically what they wanted to. Hey, Ra, how you doing, baby? They could do with it what they wanted to. So the programs were still there that needed this money, but they didn't have to necessarily spend it on what these programs, on what the programs that were already there. So the Build Back Better plan, or the BBB, wants universal and free preschool for all 3 and 4-year-olds. So this is part of the safety net program in which Manchin voted no on, safety net programs. So the U.S. already provides Head Start, Early Head Start, American Indian and Alaska Native Head Start, and Migrant and Seasonal Head Start. According to the Office of Head Start, they have a whole office, a whole department of Head Start. The program delivers services through 1,600 agencies and local communities. Most are run by nonprofit organizations, schools, and community action agencies, and they provide services to more than 1 million children every year in every U.S. state and territory. So they have a Head Start program. So the difference is they want a universal pre-K program. So they want that universal free preschool, which is similar to Head Start in a few ways. Head Start is free to low-income parents and available for children from birth to 5 years old. Universal pre-K, according to the National Institute of Health, that's funded locally, typically by the state, to provide a year or two of education prior to kindergarten for children ages 3 or 4. So we have some similarities. When comparing the two, the National Institute of Health found the following: Head Start mandates a whole child approach that aims to comprehensively support children development across several outcome domains, whereas the pre-K programs offer focus on children's early academic skills to prepare children for the academic nature of kindergarten. So I said that to say that there's not much difference in what these programs offer. So if we already have funding for a Head Start program and a pre-K program, why would we need another bill to add money for something that's already funded, that there's a whole department for? So now I wanted to share with you how that money that's already been allocated is being spent. So in fiscal year 2019, according to the Center of Budget Policy Priorities, or the CBPP, only 26 states used TANF funds for pre-K Head Start. That represented 8% of total federal and state TANF spending for those 26 states, or 12%. Only 6 states spent more than 20% of their TANF funds in this area. 10 states spent 10% or less of their TANF funds. Nebraska, that state spent 0. So you have states out here that spend less than 20%, and we have one state that spent nothing on Head Start. So why not, instead of spending $1 trillion or writing a bill to enforce universal pre-K, force these states like Nebraska to use money they already have? States receive TANF funds from a $16.5 billion federal funding. This is $330 million per state. States can carry over unspent funds for future years, and many have accumulated reserve funds by not spending their full block grant, which is allocated over multiple years. So instead of including universal pre-K in the entire bill, states can be mandated to use these funds that they receive and improve the quality of the program, or include a program. So why don't they? So let me tell you about the money that they hoard. I call it hoard, or save for a rainy day, that could be used for these programs that they are putting in the BBB. Maine only spent $1 million on pre-K and Head Start, or 0.05%, but that state reported $128 million in unspent TANF funds. Virginia only spent $4 million, or 1%, but reported $140 million in unspent funds. New York spent 9% of its funds, which totaled a large amount, which was $492 million. But they had $667 million in TANF unspent funds. So why not invest that money into this pre-K program? So if Manchin had a problem paying for this new bill, in the new bill, since he's complaining about spending, let's force the states to spend the money that they already have for programs that are already in place. Will that get a yes from Senator Manchin? Let's ask him. I'm asking everybody, send a message to him, or everybody else, all the other legislators. Why do y'all think that he's not getting, why he doesn't want to say yes? To say that he can't take the bill back to West Virginia is not good enough. Explain to us, the people, what in this bill do you not agree with? And in my opinion, and the opinion of Senator Marco Rubio, we know why he doesn't want to vote yes on this bill, but I'll get to that. I want to point out one more other thing before I get there. So let me see. Next, and they're talking about this too, almost as much as the child tax credit is the child care situation in the United States. The goal of the BBB in regards to child care is to ensure that middle-class families pay no more than 7% of their income on child care, and it will help states expand access to high quality, affordable child care to about 20 million children per year. It will cover 9 out of 10 families across the country with young children. Okay, I like that. Everybody needs child care. I can appreciate that. So we have to keep in mind that the examples at the White House website are for parents and families earning 100K and 300K. So I don't think this part of the bill is for the working poor or the working is just getting by. If you are earning 100K to 300K, I mean, I'm sure you can afford quality childcare. So I don't get that, but we should be included in their bill because we are the backbone of the country, or so they keep telling us. But their example is 100K to 300K, so that was off. So maybe Manchin had a problem with that. So again, we have to examine how the states and how legislators spend the TANF grant money because, of course, or I'm sorry, not of course, but in their spending of that grant money, child care is already included in that as well. So looking again at the CBPP, and I put the links to this in the description. So you can go back and look if you want to know how much your state is hoarding or how much they spent on these social net programs. You can go back, safety net programs. You can go back and look. The numbers are crazy. So let me see, I lost my place. TANF grant money, child care for parents who are trying to work and stay off public assistance. Okay, so the CBPP recognizes that Child Care and Development Fund under the Child Care and Development Block Grant. So it's CCDBG. So I'm gonna call it BG because I'm not saying all that, which provides a set amount of federal funds. This is a lot, y'all, so bear with me. This block grant, this is on top of the TANF block grant. So we're talking about a lot of money, y'all. So provides a set amount of federal funds for child care each year. The BG was reauthorized in 2014. The law also states to transfer some of their TANF block grant dollars to the BG up to a cap. Under TANF, states can spend federal and state TANF funds directly on child care without having to transfer the funds to BG or without any cap or limit, since spending the child care for needy families further the TANF goal of connecting families to work. States need not limit child care assistance financed by federal or state TANF funds for families receiving cash assistance. States can also use funds for families that have left TANF for work and other low-income working families. So again, the money's there, and they have all kind of, grants and things to help with childcare. You just have to meet a certain financial threshold, and based on how the economy is going and inflation, Manchin mentioned inflation. A lot of parents will qualify for these programs already. So the Build Back Better plan just seems like more of the same. Like you're just adding what's already there. Sounds familiar if you look at what they're doing with child support, and like they're introducing new guidelines that are already there. Well, what are you doing? That's already there. You're not supposed to put somebody in jail when they don't have the ability to pay. So for you to say it again is unnecessary. So with this BBB bill, for you to want to add more money for childcare, there's plenty of money. Just make the states use it. So I want to talk about how much these states have actually used of the TANF block grant. In 2019, the following states spent less than 5% on childcare of their TANF grant. Arizona spent zero, and they reported 42 million in unspent money, TANF money. Georgia is notorious for bragging about how great their child support program is. They're always, with their accountability court. I did a video about them too. You can go back and look at it when they sentence these parents to accountability court when they can't afford to pay child support. They have to go through this program, which is like probation, and then they, congratulate themselves because the parent graduated from this program that they had to go to. It's not like they volunteered for this program. And they always, put themselves in the media all over the place like they did something spectacular. Well, when you sentence somebody to probation, they're going to go, or they're going to go to jail. So Georgia, with your fabulous self, they pay zero. They spent zero on childcare, but they had 88 million tucked away for a rainy day. Tennessee, I like Tennessee. We had a town hall in Tennessee back in 2017 about child support, and Shelby County caseworkers were there, as well as Maxim. I want to say Maximus. I think Maxim. I watch Bob's Burgers, so Maxim is in my head from one of the episodes. But Maximus, one of their representatives, was there too. Tennessee spent zero on child care. That's a shame. And guess how much they had in their coffers? $732 million. What? We don't need another bill. We need them to spend this money accordingly. Texas. They always, bragging about the collections, how much they rob parents for, and how much their collection rate is. I mean, yeah, they took all the TANF money. They took all the tax money. They take, and they had the nerve to do press releases about how much they took. But they didn't spend any money. I'm talking about zero. But they had 330 million in their little stash, and that's what they get a year. Remember, they did TANF block grants every year of 330 million. In 2019, they had that. That means basically it's 1 year they didn't spend anything. Maryland spent 6 million, or 1%, and they had 30 million tucked away for a rainy day. I say it's raining now. Shit, it's storming. It's damn tornado. It's everything. Tornado, ice, whatever. It's raining, it's storming. They should not have all this damn money tucked away and not spending anything on childcare when that's what's hot on the press and that's what is needed. And then they complain that people can't go back to work after COVID. Well, hell, can't nobody watch the kids? And you're spending nothing on the money that you get to help. So now we know that in 2019, those 5 states had accumulated $1.2 billion when you add it all up in TANF funds, and 4 states spent nothing on child care, while 1 state spent 1% of the 330 million, 1% of the money that they get annually. That should make everybody, instead of being mad at Joe Manchin because he didn't vote yes, be mad at everybody that has control of this money that they are refusing to spend. Now, I said the zeros, but only 26 states, was it 26? I'll have to go back and look, but y'all get the picture. These states aren't spending any money for child care, but they want more money for child care. Why would we give you more money and you're not spending what you get? If it's not making sense to y'all, remember, you can't make sense out of bullshit. So we're going to move on. I wrote, legislators are always double talking and reintroducing things that already exist in order to appear to be helping the people that voted them into office. I had to read that because that's so true. Double talk, double. Well, let's be a whole bridge outside. Well, we need money to build a bridge, but there's a bridge. They do it all the time. So here's the part: the child tax credit. Y'all know they have been hot and heavy on this child tax credit, and for good reason. And this is what I think is holding the whole bill up. Those other two issues, they have money for that. And they have money for the child tax credit to an extent. I mean, to a certain extent, but they want to make this permanent. And this is a big ass deal. More than what they want to admit. So let me go over, you have to go over the facts in it, but let me get that out the way first. That's the one that has been receiving the most attention. So according to the White House, the BBB framework will provide monthly payments to parents of nearly 90% to nearly 90% of American children for 2022, $300 per month per child under 6 and $250 per month per child ages 6 to 17. That's a lot of bread. That's a lot of bread. This historic when there's nothing unless a parent is paying child support. So there's no, you got to take like if a family is struggling and needing public assistance, they can't just go and apply without stipulations. They have to work. Remember that. If they already are working, then that benefit is going to lessen. They might not, or decrease. They might not even get a cash benefit, even if they qualify or they need it because their rent is so high. Like a 1-bedroom out here in Austin, or is like $1,000. The historic tax cut will help cover the cost of food, housing, health care, and transportation. That's going to help out a lot. It will continue the largest one-year reduction in child poverty in history. And critically, the framework includes permanent refundability for the child tax credit, meaning that the neediest families will continue to receive the full child tax credit over the long run. And you know, they don't like providing any benefits that look, sound, smell like welfare. That sounds like a great opportunity for low-income families, and it sounds kind of familiar. We were told by the government nearly 3 decades ago when they were selling the child support program that according to the Urban Institute, child support is an important income for poor families, lifting 1 million people from poverty in 2008. In 2008, 625,000 children would have been poor if they had not received support, increasing child poverty by 4.4%. Most of these children, 447,000, would have lived in deep poverty, below 50% of the federal poverty level, as a result of losing their child support income. In addition to benefiting children, 413,000 adults would have been poor if their families had not received child support. That's why they don't make a big deal about getting receipts or that the children, the money spent on the child, because they're worried that the adults don't live in poverty as well. That's why they don't look and they don't check and make sure the kid is the one getting the money. They want to make sure the adults aren't in poverty either. That answers that question. Just like the children, most of these adults, 275,000 would have lived in deep poverty without child support income. These families would need an additional $4.4 billion to escape poverty. Child support, child tax credit. So now we have to look, if they're offering the child tax credit and they don't even mention child support. Let's break that down. As we know, both parties voted for the welfare system, welfare reform, which included mandated cooperation with child support. So the question for me has been and continues to be, reducing child poverty, if reducing child poverty is so important and passing the bill to improve social safety programs are necessary, why the no vote by Manchin? The solution can be found in what Senator Mark Rubio said earlier this year when President Biden introduced the child allowances. Rubio said in a press release that, quote, the new program transforms the existing child tax credit into a monthly welfare payment for the next 6 months. Parents, including those who do not work, will receive monthly payments of $250 per child under 18 and $300 per child under 6, end quote. Rubio was not alone in disagreeing with making child tax credits permanent, even if it meant decreasing child poverty. Scott Winship, director of poverty studies in the Conservative American Enterprise Institute, said his concern is that the permanent child allowance might make parents less likely to work and reduce the number of two-parent households, since they would be a stream of income from the government. He wants to reduce child poverty, but is concerned that doing this might worsen such as unemployment and single parenthood that contribute to policy. See, if they make that permanent, then parents can go apply for this tax credit. My light is acting goofy. Apply for this tax credit without having to sue for child support. So it's reversing that child support cooperation, which needs to be done, because if you are struggling or need temporary assistance, you should not be strong-armed by the government into suing the other parent, which studies have shown and statistics have shown that the other parent is more than likely low income too and cannot afford the debt, the retroactive child support, the arrears, and they're punished because they are poor. So again, according to Rubio, quote, not only does Biden's plan abandon incentives for marriage and requirements for work, but it will also destroy the child support enforcement system as we know it by sending cash payments to single parents without enforcing child support orders, ensuring child support orders are established. So I'm here to say, and I've said it since he released that. I don't know what my light is acting funny. So I've said this since he released this press release. They don't want to destroy the child support system. This child tax credit is basically reverting back to what we had 30 years ago before they implemented this child support system. And without the child support system forcing struggling parents to sue the other struggling parent for child support in exchange for cash and medical benefits, the entire system will crumble. And I think that's why Manchin is voting no on the Build Back Better bill. Senator Manchin facing backlash. Oh, okay. That's what's the name. Oh, okay. Hold on, guys. I look like I copied this twice. Let's see. Okay. It's important to remember that the child support program is a multi-billion-dollar a year industry. It was designed to recover welfare expenditures, but has evolved into a moneymaker for multiple corporations, including the government. The program did not operate in the best interest of children in 1996, and it doesn't operate in the best interest of children now. As far as the BBB bill, the safety net that Manchin is supposedly voting against, two are the Head Start and the Child Care program. We know the government already has these programs established. They already are paying for these programs, and they're in every jurisdiction. So there's money already allocated for these programs. So why would we ever okay any money for those programs for people making 100,000 to 300,000? That doesn't make any sense. Legislators refuse to fully fund and improve what is already there. There's no need to include them in a new bill. All that really needs to happen is that leaders need to place some constraints on how TANF money is spent and not allow legislators to hoard much needed dollars. Now, our tax dollars are being paid to TANF, and some of it goes to TANF, and that money, I thought, is going to help low-income people. I'm cool with that. But if they're going to sit and hold it and not spend it, and then ask for more, I need a receipt. What y'all spending my money on? And y'all, I don't want no more money. I don't want y'all taking on more money until y'all tell me where y'all spent this money. So I'm kind of with Manchin. As far as the CTC, the child tax credit, make them permanent and destroy the child support system. Enough is enough. The hustle has been exposed. We know what y'all are doing. We know everybody, pretty much anybody involved with the child support system and parental alienation, there's a number of organizations and people advocating against the system. I mean, it's everywhere. I found it astonishing that in this $2 trillion bill, they did not, that involves safety net programs, that they did not mention child support not once. And on the Build Back Better bill on the White House website, y'all can go, I put the link in there. There's an example of like the steps, and the cartoon character is a pregnant lady. She's pregnant with her son. I think his name was Leo. So they have her working and pregnant. She's making 40,000. So then they have her when she delivers her baby, and they talk about healthcare, and it shows her son in school, like preschool or Head Start, and shows him in, like the span of her and his life. Not once do they mention a father. Not once do they mention child support. Not once do they mention court. I mean, there's no mention of a father at all. Which child support is a big, like it's the biggest investment, like I said earlier, a government program to date, is what the Office of Child Support said, the federal office said. So they just had a single mother and her child with no mention of child support on this Build Back Better plan. So I said that to say, pay attention that this bill is all about that, in my opinion, and apparently in Senator Rubio's opinion too. People are aware that the punishments that are executed against paying parents are violations of several rights, including human rights, and they need to end now. And we know that the government is responsible for causing fatherlessness in this country and needs to stop perpetrating the fraud, like the fraud that so many men go through when they're forced to pay child support for children that they are not biologically related to. Whether the bill passes or not, there are fixes that can happen just by doing your jobs, legislators. It's just that simple. So as y'all see more about this Build Back Better bill, I hope I explained my take on this, and I would like to know your take on it as well. And if we can get some, people, if we can start contacting them and asking them, what's the hold up? Why aren't y'all doing why aren't y'all spending this money that's already allocated for childcare, for Head Start? Why aren't y'all spending this money on the kids already? And while we're at it, why are y'all forcing vulnerable mothers, mostly mothers or vulnerable fathers as well, to sue the other parent that's probably in a vulnerable situation too, to sue the other parent so that y'all can take the money? And why don't y'all pass through this child support or pay the child support when y'all collect it to those parents, knowing the kids need it? Y'all always talking about ending child poverty, but y'all don't do it. Y'all keep this money. And while y'all at it, why are y'all letting these states keep hundreds of millions of dollars for a rainy day? It's been storming forever. It's bullshit. I know y'all tired. I'm tired. I know y'all tired. I'm sick of it. And no, I'm not, like I said, I'm not actively advocating for child support, but these are human rights. The children should be able to receive uh, educational benefits like universal pre-K if that's going to help them as they enter kindergarten. Um, it should not be denied that because states decide that they don't want to spend that money and they want to keep it for some road that doesn't need to be replaced, or they're not going to give a family some benefits because they feel that they can extort that parent, the other parent, for 30, 40, $50,000 because he can't provide what they think he should provide at that moment and she needs some benefits. That's not how safety net programs are supposed to work. They're taking advantage. Shit, I say it all the time. It's expensive to be poor. Very, very expensive. Trust me. I've been poor, talking about poor, poor. And I ain't rich now. Let me see what comments. This light be in my face and I can't see. Yeah, it's time to sue. I agree with that. Thank you, Kenneth. Poor people's fight. I don't know what that means, DOS. Everybody think it's just a certain group of people's issue until that issue is at your front door, till your children's in that issue or your parents in that issue or you're in that issue. All of a sudden, oh, you doing great, and then you get sick, or you doing great and you lose your job, and all of a sudden you to the curb and you need those benefits, and now you understand just what being hungry feels like, and then you want somebody fighting for your ass. It's ridiculous. There's too much money in this country for them to keep doing what they're doing, pissing on us and saying it's raining and keeping the money in a rainy day fund. Yeah, 50-50 custody. That should be the standard. I'm working on my new book, and so One of the things that I'm looking at is the people that oppose some of the things that we as advocates advocate for. And one of those is 50-50 shared parenting, being the oh, I can't think of the word right off, but the presumed, oh, what's the word? But just off the rip, like automatic 50-50, unless there's, abuse or, cases like that. And the some of the reasons that people give that are against that are nonsense again, because most of the stuff I flip and I say, if the shoe was on the other foot and men or fathers were the ones granted full custody, would the government be so willing to deny mothers that 50 presume? I almost had it. Presume. Anyway, y'all know what I'm talking about. Um, would they be so quick to deny mothers that automatic 50-50 share parenting? And I always come up with no. Now I'm talking about no abuse, no violence, nothing like that. A loving parent, even if maybe they were together and they're broken up now, what that father doesn't stop being a dad because the parents aren't together, and he was good enough to be a dad while they were together. So why? How did he end up uh, not shit because y'all not together? Not a not shit dad and a deadbeat because y'all not together. That's not right. Poor people fight. I don't know what that means. Well, if you don't already have a case, then I'd advise you not to sign anything. Hot topic. Don't sign nothing. Don't agree to anything. If you take care of your child outside of child support court or child support system, don't agree to anything. Again, that system. If it wasn't a welfare system, if it's not a welfare case, then child support participation is voluntary. It's like any other program. Now, if you, like I just went through this, if you receive welfare benefits, mostly Medicaid and TANF, they force the custodial parent to sue for child support. It's a civil lawsuit unless the parent agrees. If you don't receive welfare, then you could take care of your children outside of court. Just keep receipts. They're going to try to say it's a gift if you pay outside of a court order. If you don't already have a court order, then you're not violating a court order by paying outside of the child support system. I did a video about that. You can go back and look up child support gift. I can't think of what the entire title is. But as long as if there's a court order and you pay outside, then they're going to try to consider that a gift. But if there's no court order and you're showing that it's child support, how are they going to call it a gift? You're not violating anything. There's no court order. And that came out of the judge's manual. I got the link. The links are in the video's description. I try to put links with everything. So don't sign anything that they give you. Don't agree to anything. And I'm writing my next book. I'm focusing a lot on before the child support hustle. So I want to tell you, I'm gonna do a video too of you young guys out here. Y'all have to know that if the woman is claiming that you got her pregnant, and you're at the hospital and they're offering you a paternity affidavit of paternity, ALP, affidavit of paternity, don't sign it. You wait. And that's all I'm saying. Don't sign anything, even if you're at the hospital, even if you cut the umbilical cord. If you are not married, do not sign anything. And I'll tell you why later, but don't do it. Trust me. But you'll find out more because I'll probably do videos as I finish like my chapters and stuff like that. Maybe I don't know. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. She receives 10, but I never agreed to pay them. I remember receiving a letter a few years ago. Um, yeah, that hot topic. Send me if you still had a letter, send me an email. Let me see it. CS Hustle, the number one. Let me just type it in here. Send me an email. Let me see it, okay? Because you don't necessarily have to agree, but they'll try to. Just let me see it real quick. Just don't agree to nothing. I'm talking about don't agree. Oh shit. Oh, I have to say this is for informational or entertainment purposes only. I don't want nobody to sue me. What's the difference between court order and private? There's a big difference between court order and private. Logistics doctor. Y'all have to like all these questions that y'all asked me. I've talked about or covered them either on my website or in my book or on my videos. Like I got information everywhere. Y'all just gotta go. Um, y'all could probably even Google a lot of y'all questions. Just put the child support hustle and then your question in there. Or if you send me an email, I'll try to send you an article specific to your question. I don't know if that, but my if you go in the description, my link tree is in there, and that has all my how you can get to all my social media and all that kind of stuff. But there's a big difference between private and a welfare case. You need if you going through child support, about to go, you definitely need to know that. You have to know hot topic if they sent you a letter, did you get served? Like, what are you going to court for? Like, did they send anything after that letter? Like, how are you in court? Like, what's going on? Did they serve you? That's questions that you have to ask and find out before you go to court. There's a whole process because they're basically suing you, saying that you don't take care of your child and that you absent. And so now the state has to come after you in order to make you or force you to pay and take care of your child. So it's up to them to prove that you are absent and don't take care of your child. And it's up to you to defend yourself. You have a right to defend yourself against your accuser, who is the state. So you what is what? Logistics. So you look up, try to find whatever paperwork they sent you. They had to send you something if you have a court date. You need to look, well, not need to, but you should either look at the court website and try to find out all the information. You're welcome, Logistics. Yeah, if I can answer your question, I'll try to point. If I can, I'll point you in the right direction. Um, Shared parenting is not like an area that I'm real strong in. I haven't done a lot of research on that, but there's a lot of organizations out here that's what they do. National Parents Organization, they have been instrumental in actually presenting and helping pass bills in Kentucky. I think it's Arkansas. Arkansas. Don't quote me on that. And in Ohio, they're about to, or it's real close to passing a good shared parenting bill there. So if you have issues with like custody or um, shared parenting and anything like that, then Google the National Parents Organization and see if you can get some good information from them. They have a lot of stuff going on. Well, that's one of the reasons, Kenneth, that nobody wants to. That I'm telling all these young guys, older guys, a guy, period. People lie, and sometimes it might not even be an intentional uh, lie. It might just be I don't know, but you don't want to sign anything because they have so many constraints and laws and statutes that will kind of prohibit you or a man from not only getting his name released from being a legal father from a child that's not his, but also get off of child support for a child that's not his. So he's on the hook. And um, so don't sign anything. Even if they say you gotta sign this right now because they're real pushy, real bossy. But don't sign anything. They don't make it seem like, oh, is it? No, they got plans. They got schemes and plans for this. Yeah, I have to look. I have to look hot topic. Okay, guys, thank y'all so much for joining me. Thanks for the likes. I want to thank y'all for subscribing. Almost at 3,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. That is my new goal. I'm almost there. So your subscribe will help me get there and I will be able to go, yay. And that's what I want to do. If you have any questions, oh, you're welcome, Logistics. It's my pleasure. I'm gonna be talking about some other stuff too that I think might be helpful for people like myself, things that I went through with like employers and things like that. So I want to talk about FMLA when you're working. If you don't know about it, I'm gonna tell you about my experience with it and uh, disability, the American for Disability Act, and how you can invoke your rights and what to do if your rights are violated, things like that. I'm all about people's rights, and I know that these employers will violate you, and I want to tell you how to fight back and hopefully win if they violate you. And I'm not an attorney. I'm just that I'm just a person that fights back. I've been discriminated against on for many things, and I had to fight back on many levels for different issues. And most of the time, I won. Sometimes I lost, but I learned a lot. So I want to share that with you all. Yeah, veterans as well. I'm a veteran. I had to do a couple fights on that level too, but the veterans stuff wasn't so bad. So thank you guys. Wait, what does this say? Love you too. What's that? I can't read all the names because everybody got a handle. Okay, and I'm putting it out there. I made the flyer this past week. I'm not arguing with people. People be wanting to argue with me online, debate with me about child support. I'm not here to debate. I'm not here to argue. I don't have time for that. I don't argue, debate with people, especially that I don't know. So if you want to debate with me and argue with me, I will charge you a fee. I'm charging. And hey, you can cash at me. We can go at it, but it's not free anymore. I'm not arguing with people on the internet. And when you walk away, you still gonna feel the way you feel. When I walk away, I'm still gonna feel the way I feel. It's not worth it. And so don't get your blood pressure up. I'm not gonna get my blood pressure up. This is what I feel about this or that. What I put out there, especially about child support, is facts. I might throw my little opinion in there, but I'm gonna put something up, and here goes something. Here go a link to it. You go look it up and let me know what you think. But stop trying to argue with me. It's counterproductive. I'm grown. Don't tell me what I need to do. I need to stay black and die, according to my ancestors. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. Yeah, according to my ancestors, all I gotta do is stay black and die. So don't waste your breath telling me I need to do this and I need to do that. I don't need to do shit except what I want to. So you want to argue with me? Cash at me. Let me know. Argue online, and we can set something up. Okay, Kenneth. I'm just putting it out there. All right, y'all have a good one. Enjoy yourself. Stay safe. Um, be kind to each other. It's a crazy time, so why not laugh and smile instead of argue and be mad? Okay, I'm gonna do me some yoga when we get off of here. So, namaste. Remember, they cannot ignore millions.